Basically, it's the foundations, the low pass, the high pass, the through pass. Everything else is variations of these passes, whether it's a powerful pass, a strong high, or a throw ball.
How do you decide which animation set should be used in different contexts? Do you simply have the presets like, if the ball goes this high, should the model be animated that way? Or if it was a low pass, then should there be a completely different animation? Or do you have a versatile system where the game itself decides which animation it should trigger? Long story short, let's discuss the goalkeepers.
We've made the mock-ups for lots of goalkeeper animations for different heights. We have several presets for different trajectories of an incoming ball. Our animation system chooses the most appropriate one, judging by the height of the ball first. What is most important is that we set up the animations with the maximum precision, and then the system can launch them correctly. But besides the animation, there is also a technical part that concerns the football itself, such as a goalkeeper should not touch the ball with his hands outside the box. He should be able to work with headers. The hard thing is to put it all together. If you ask me, a goalkeeper is an extremely hard system to work on. A goalkeeper saves in many completely different ways. He can even save with his back. And we have to implement all of this.
How do you set up the abilities for a goalkeeper? How do you keep the things balanced and decide whether he can save a shot and when it's just impossible, at least for this specific goalkeeper?
Here again, we use the game logic. We have to take into account lots of different factors when setting this up. It's not possible for a ball to travel with the same speed every time, and for a goalkeeper to catch it all the time too. It just doesn't happen in real life. We should take into consideration the skills and characteristics of the attacker. These factors are really crucial for his success, as well as the whole context of the current match. We need to marry a lot of different factors, and as I already said, it's super hard.
There are also probabilities which work both in the game and in real-life football. The most skilled goalkeeper in real football can concede a goal that you and I probably would have saved. And everyone can also perform something incredible which looks just impossible after you've done it.
Flicks. We've already asked you about this. You mentioned that you had a lot of flicks, but you showed us only the rainbow.
We definitely didn't have lots. I said that there are around 5 of them.
Okay, so why don't you show us some of those? Just so we can see some of the others. Anything except for rainbow.
Close the game, please.
It's not a rainbow anymore. We came up with something new.
And what's the name?
Oh, the old one was rainbow. We were really clever. We called it rain.
We made a flick where a player steps to the side of the ball and flicks it up.
Show it. And again, please.
Here, look. For now, even a goalkeeper can do it.
Was it a flick?
Yes, it was.
Can you show me a flick that goalkeepers can't do?
We have a brilliant goalkeeper. He can do anything.
Yeah, we didn't differentiate them yet.
Still, you didn't convince me.
It's convincing. It's the best flick.
Show him the rainbow.
Yeah. By the way, here's the flick you haven't seen before. We have improved the rainbow a little bit. Here you go. That's our rainbow.
A question to you as developers. Tell me, is it really possible to use the rainbow successfully against a real person?
It is possible. No, really, rainbow is a very useful flick. I'm serious. I really like to use it myself. You see, you send the ball up. How can someone take it if the ball is up so high?
All right, can you show me that flick where a player turns around with a ball? Do you have it?
Of course.
You think so?
Oh, rainbow flick is not enough for you?
I'm showing you, and you look away.
Go on.
Oops. Here we have some input issues. We know about this bug. We still didn't finish the input system. Here you go. And he could do this the other way around, but he can't. Input issue. Look, there you go. 2 in a row.
Marvelous.
And the other way around.
Are there any trademark flicks that only specific footballers are able to perform?
We want to implement it. It's not in the game right now, but we are planning to do this, the personal flicks.
And as I understand, the footballer's role will determine which flicks from your great number he can do at all?
Of course.
So a 2-meter-tall center back won't be able to...
Center backs normally don't need any flicks, and if they do, they perform the flicks not that good. So it seems they will get just the basic set.
It seems to me, when we play football simulation games, we don't really want to see the unique and unexpected events we sometimes have in real-life football. We want the game to be more predictable or regular, without any freaky mistakes and weird moves from real life.
It would be an arcade then, not a football sim.
Sometimes in football sims, you're pretty sure that you should score a goal if you take a certain position. You have no doubt in it, and when you miss, it really upsets you. You cannot understand how it was possible to miss from such a perfect position. However, this is a must. If you can score every time when you shoot from a certain position, what kind of game would this be?
The game process will become extremely predictable. What's the point in playing it if everyone aims for the same position to score identical goals?
That being said, I have a question about audience feedback. As you know, we have an insider video series in which we show the current state of the game. And just to put it lightly, we got tons of comments regarding the goalkeeper's performance, and what we heard the most was how hard it was to score. In those videos, it looks basically impossible to get past the goalkeeper. Even the most wild attacks did not score a goal. It was too obvious.
The goalkeeper in that video had a rating over 90, one of the highest in the game at that moment.
Do you think that might be a problem? Even without feedback, do you understand that's not how it's supposed to be? That it looks rather like a bug?
But of course, sometimes we play thousands of attacks from a couple of positions, and we see it's way overboard. Like, hey, now you have to concede a goal. We carefully look through all of this, and we, from our own point of view, can see when we need to nerf the goalkeeper.
I would like to add that at the very beginning, we made a goalkeeper that let in lots of goals. People didn't like it. Now he saves, and people don't like it either. It's impossible to please everyone. We need to look for a
middle ground.
What's most challenging in developing the goalkeeper system?
Everything that concerns goalkeepers is a lot harder than any work with field players. For us, a development phase of a goalkeeper's system became a totally different world. He lives by different rules. He cannot sprint using the regular patterns. He runs differently from the field players, moves differently, does everything in his own way. It's completely different and much more sophisticated. We overcame so many various challenges, and we still have more work to do, but we are quite sure we'll overcome all of them one by one. We invent absolutely new things, and at some point they appear to be just brilliant, but later we see it from another point of view and it doesn't look that good anymore. We update and evolve this system all the time. There is no end to it.
And now, let's move on from the goalkeepers. We now know all about them. Let's talk about the rest of the core gameplay. What was the feature, set of features, or mechanic that you spent most of your time on? I mean, what took the most number of working hours and efforts?
It's obvious. It's naturally obvious.
trapping.
Dribbling.
I would say physical collisions.
No, it's not. I mean, at some point, the whole department sat down and lost their minds on dribbling.
Well, it's just the most recent.
Not now. Back in the first phase of development. That was so hard.
But why dribbling? For me, as a person out of the development process, it looks quite simple. It's just about the particular positioning of the legs around a ball.
And that's the problem. You have to correctly position one leg after another, change directions abruptly, then change pace. And you need animations for all these sequences, but you don't have any. And players are dribbling basically all the time.
Hey, Tigran, may I ask a question too?
Of course.
Ilya, what percentage of flicks are ready at this moment?
It wasn't me who asked it.
We need to answer honestly?
Honestly, yes.
We already have a set of flicks that we plan to finish and implement before the release. This set is not that huge, but it's perfectly ready. Now, we'll be adding more.
Yeah, I've heard you say that 1,000 times.
I'm absolutely serious. A basic set is ready. What I'm trying to say is that we have finished our set of flicks, but we still have lots of work to do with flicks as a general feature.
I think I get what you mean. Do you and your team have an agreement to what extent you should polish the feature, what it is you're aiming for in terms of release quality? I mean, have you already decided what you should achieve up to the release date and which improvements will follow with the post-release updates? I mean...
You mean the flicks now?
Yeah.
Okay, I say no. Now we can't release it just now.
So you wait, just like other people, for a time when someone says, that's it, we're done.
No, I'll say it myself. With flicks, you just see if it works.
But do you know exactly what still needs to be done? Do you have a checklist, what tasks should be finished, so you can finally say to yourself, now it's ready for the release? Yeah, I just want to understand, what is it that you're lacking now?
For now, we lack a responsiveness of the animation system.
Okay, first.
Interaction with other mechanics second, and the game value of flicks third.
Okay, let's talk about game value. In other football simulation games, we've already seen such quasi-useful features, like you have to perform a certain flick right before shooting to score a goal for sure. And this is quite a structured and strict mechanic.
No, it's not like that. Definitely not. What is a flick? It's a maneuver to get the upper hand on your opponent. Most flicks should be useful, functional, not just pretty. Let's take Rainbow, for example. It looks nice indeed, but above all, it should be effective.
But it won't affect other actions?
No, if I start the rainbow while you're performing a sliding tackle on me, you'll do so, and that's what I'm aiming for.
All right.
Another question, I'm just curious too.
You sure you guys work together?
So, in other football sims, there may be situations when, during a flick, your defenders cannot do a thing. They basically get glued to a flick and stuck, or they get dragged towards it, which means your defenders cannot intercept a ball whatever you try. It's frustrating. Will we have this?
Probably, but again, only if you have some other mechanic affecting you, which is definitely quite possible.
Thanks, bro, you buried us.
Okay. As a second point, you mentioned that you want to tune up the interaction between different mechanics. Which mechanics are not working well together, or at least you don't think they are working together well enough? Did you mean tackling? Some combination of tackles and flicks?
Yeah, tackles, recoveries, collisions. What happens when you collide into me while I'm doing my flick? All such things normally affect both sides. What is a flick again? It's when you have an opponent close to you and you want to outmaneuver them while they're trying to intercept your ball.
Tell me more about your teamwork. You work on tackles, he works on flicks. For instance, what do you do to make a footballer tackling someone during a flick look good?
We make it, and then we sit and talk it out until we find a compromise.
What is a compromise in this case? Is it some kind of boring technical stuff and you're thinking, there's no point in explaining it to me?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, sort of.
It must look good in terms of animation and gameplay in general.
You know a thing about user-friendly explanations.
It's my team, by the way.
Alrighty. When working on UFL, do you ever feel that you're working on something potentially huge, even revolutionary? Do you ever think that you, right now, are making a project that can potentially revolutionize the whole genre of football simulation games? Do you sometimes feel something like, wow, I'm a part of something really, really big?
Very often. And that's a good thing and a bad thing. Bad because I feel pressure and responsibility for what I'm doing. And since the project is huge, I always remember that so many people will be playing it quite soon. I am the guy who decides how it will work. You think, I can't do it badly. If I fail, players will blame me personally. Probably they won't blame me by name, but still, they will write something bad about my part, my job. I'll be on pins and needles. Such responsibility works both ways. I mean, it's so cool, but it's so much pressure.
And you, Dennis?
I don't feel any pressure. I'm kind of a laid-back guy, you know? Whatever happens, happens. But I feel that we're making something big, that's for sure. I mean, if something works out, then great. If not, we need to iterate until it works. I'm not worried if something isn't working.
All right, next time then.
Yeah, we'll do it next time.
Okay.
Do
Do you work on kicks as well?
Well, a little.
And what shots do you have?
Do you need a list?
No, just show me what you have. Direct pass, ground passes, lob shots, whatever else. Are they in the game? Or are you going to tell me that all these shots are not yet implemented?
You name 3 shots.
Well, we have 4.
Let's start with the simple ones. Show us a couple and tell us more about them. Actually, on the other hand, just show us a long shot.
Here you go. I'm shooting.
Seems someone removed a goalkeeper again.
Another time.
Well, it's good to know you're not releasing tomorrow.
It's a technical build.
Second shot, here it goes. Ooh, that was good.
Okay, let's check the standard kicks.
All right.
Goalkeeper saved it. Good.
Well, that attack was just too poor. It was long range. Yeah, what about a shot from the pass? Give us the cross in from the wing.
The low cross then? As if I'm playing the ball into the box and you are trying to score? Oops! Oh, they intercepted it. Okay, let's try another time.
Yeah, what if you're trying to make a ground pass, not a cross? What should you do? Double-click a pass button?
No, you need to order a ground pass. We gave up on the double click.
How do you order it?
With a modifier.
You need to learn it.
It's one of the pass types.
Now the free kicks.
Yes, we even have a corner.
As we all know, there were always some issues with the free kicks in all football sims. They usually change the way it should have been performed and so on. How will it be implemented in your game? Can you show us? How do you do the free kicks in the UFL?
We are still working on the features, so what we have here is a draft.
Yeah.
But we can show it right now.
We decided not to reinvent the wheel, but we want to. We'd love to, yeah.
What about the curling shots? Left curler, right curler, what else? As far as I know, you should have them, right?
We don't have them yet.
Okay, then, show us what the shot looks like.
Here's the target. It's more or less standard. I suppose you've seen something similar. If you don't do anything, a timer starts, and you order the shot.
How do you do it? Do you curl it with your right stick?
You will do so, but not now.
It's not implemented in a technical build.
Yeah. But we do work on the set pieces.
Same with penalties?
Yeah.
We can show you now.
It is in the build, but without the parameters of a shot. If you order a kick type, then your ball will travel just using basic info.
But we'll have the target.
What about long free kicks into the area? I mean, long passes from free kicks without shooting from a distance.
You really want to set up the individual tactics for crosses into the box.
I'm quite certain that it is possible in professional football.
We wanted to make it a surprise, but if you want to put all the cards on the table, we won't have it. I mean, it's not in the game now, but we're thinking about it.
But it is planned, right?
We didn't put much thought into it so far. Actually, the whole system of set pieces is kind of a secondary part of the game. It will be the cherry on top. What we are working on now, first and foremost, is core gameplay itself.
Непосредственно геймплей.
Dennis, do you agree?
Well, yes, dribbling is a really complex feature, but...
No, the question was, what does stand out to you?
It was the first feature for us. The entire department was working on it.
Let's not discuss it just because it was first. So, when you've already done so much, what would you call the biggest challenge going forward? What's taking the most time, effort, and energy from your team?
Trapping the ball, then.
Trapping, yeah. You need to teach footballers how to get the ball with the optimal speed and as quick as possible, finding the best path, not giving up the ball to an opponent and so on. It's very complicated. Passes are so different with different power in them. And a footballer should adjust to his partner's speed and tempo and understand where to run, what to expect. So trapping was the hardest. And goalkeeper for sure. We still didn't finish this feature yet.
The hardest thing with trapping the pass is that you can't allow a player not to touch the ball, not to make a kick. If there was contact, we should have this contact. It's just absolutely impossible otherwise.
Better tell me where to turn here.
Go straight a little longer. Yeah. Well, so a footballer should always hit the ball.
Okay, guys. I know that you hate this question, but tell me about your plans. And don't just say, it'll be all right, no worries, like everybody else does. What are you afraid of the most? Are there any fabulous features that you're going to work on? Oh, and another one. What are you expecting during the pre-release period? What do you think it'll look like?
Well, really, we wait for the day when everything will work as we want it to. And I'm afraid of the audience reaction.
You're afraid of the reaction because you're bringing this new project to this traditional market?
Well, yes, I'm afraid they will say, "What did you make? That's kind of a mobile game here. We've been waiting for it for so long, you've promised so much, and that's all we've got?" Well, you know what I mean.
How can you minimize this reaction to some extent? To make peace with the thought that the game will be speeding up after the release, that it can and should be evolving all the time. How are you going to prepare players for this?
It would sound more like an excuse. We need to have everything from the start, because the bar is super high, and you just cannot release a bad product. We cannot afford to promise fixes and patches if the game is broken at release. It just won't work for us.
Actually, it never works for anyone.
That's all. Thank you for today.